Hello students, I'm Madam Joyce from Educare TZ. I'm teaching biology and today I'll be with you to discuss our topic which is found in Form 5, and that is cytology, whereby we are going to discuss our subtopic which is called the concept of cytology and cell theory. So we are going to discuss our first subtopic which is called the concept of cytology and the cell theory. Reminding you, my student, in the last session, we tried to look also the concept of cytology, and we just look very little bit introduction of the cell theory. The cell theory. So now we are going to deal with this concept of the concept of cytology, whereby now we are going to see the importance of studying cytology. We are going to see the importance of studying cytology. Je, kuna umuhimu gani wa kusoma cytology? So there are many significances of studying cytology, which include the following. So we have different kinds, we have different importance, or there is importance of studying this cytology. Je, wewe kama mwanafunzi inakusaidiaje hii cytology? So here we are going to see the importance of studying this cytology. And the first here we can see that this cytology helps to realize the role of cell. This cytology helps to realize the role of cell in metabolic processes such as respiration, protein synthesis, excretion, and growth. So by studying cytology, it helps to know the role of cells in metabolic processes. Tukisema metabolic processes, we mean that all the activities which are performed or which are done within the cells, those are the metabolic processes. And what are the examples of these metabolic processes? Here you can see that we have respiration, protein synthesis, excretion, and growth. So by studying this cytology helps a student or helps us to know that how does the respiration occur within living organism. How protein synthesis it occur within living organism. Kivipi protein inatengenezwa ndani ya kiumbe hai. But also now you can see excretion. Kivipi excretion inatokea ndani ya living organism. You know that excretion is just a metabolic removal of waste in living organism. But also growth, how living organism can grow, starting from for example, in living organism, starting from infancy up to adulthood. How? So now you will know how does a growth occur within the living organism, because all of this, they are occurring within the cell. But also here we can say that another importance of studying this cytology, we can say that it aids in understanding the detailed structure and the functioning of different cells. Aid in understanding detailed structure and function of different cells. Inatusaidia kujua muundo wa seli mbalimbali zinazopatikana kwa different kind of living organism. For example, tukiongelea bakteria na wenyewe wanakuwa na seli yao. Je, ndani ya ile seli yao imeundwa na nini? Kuna vitu gani mule? Je, ndani ya ile bakteria wanatofautiana kivipi na seli inayopatikana maybe in the animals? So now you're going to see, or you're going to differentiate all of them while you are reading or you are learning this cytology. So now you can see it is very important. But also another importance of studying this cytology, simply we can say that it enhances an understanding on the structural, that is anatomical and chemical composition of a cell. It helps to know the composition or the content, or simply we can say that anatomical and chemical composition of a cell. Ndani ya seli, je, kumeundwa na vitu gani? if there is any chemical within a cell, so we're going to see. Tutaangalia, ndani ya seli imetengenezwa na kemikali gani, na hizo kemikali zinafanya kazi gani ndani ya ile cell. So that is the importance of understanding this is cytology. So it helps or it enhances understanding on the structural. We can now understand the structure of a cell in general. But also another thing we will learn, or another importance of studying this cytology, simply we can say that it gives knowledge about the processes and significance of cellular differentiation, that is the process in which cells are specialized for their function, such as reproductive cells, red blood cells, absorptive cells, and nerve cells. So it give us the knowledge about the significance of cellular differentiation. How does the cell differentiate to become another thing? So here you're going to learn. For example, here you can see the process which cells are specialized from their functions, such as the reproductive cells, red blood cells, absorptive cells, and nerve cells. So you're going to see, or you're going to learn how you can differentiate between these reproductive cells and absorptive cells. Hizi maybe red blood cells zina tofauti gani maybe na white blood cells ambazo zinapatikana within a living organism. So that it become the importance of studying this cytology. Another importance of studying this cytology, here we can say that it simply enable us to understand how similar cells are organized into tissue. So itatusaidia kujua kivipi seli na seli zinaungana kutengeneza another thing, that is tissue. We know that tissue is just a combination of cell and cell, thereby it will give us tissue. We have different kinds of tissue in living organisms. Let's take an example in human being, for example. So we have glands. Glands is a tissue. We have muscles. Muscle is an example of tissue. So how does one cell and one cell make the muscles or make the glands? So we're going to learn in this cytology. We're going to understand in detail one thing after another. But also here, another importance of studying this cytology, we can say that it helps to show how organisms are evolutionally related. Hapa sasa tutaenda kujua how does this living organism evolutionally related. That is, for example, in a biochemical evolution theory of a region of life on the earth, various chemicals compounds were combined and immobilized into prokaryotes, which give rise to eukaryotes in the course of evolution. So here we're going to learn how does eukaryotic cells or eukaryotic organism come from the prokaryotic organism. And here when we say prokaryotic organism, an example of it, we have bacteria. Bacteria are one of the example of prokaryotic cell. But an example of eukaryotic cell, these include plants and animals. So in the course of evolution, au tunasema kwamba kwenye evolution tunasema kwamba au kwenye hizi nadharia za evolution, we are simply say that this eukaryotic cell, that is plant and animal, they come from prokaryotic cell. Why? Because there is biochemical or chemical that is found within the prokaryotic cell. They are similar to that is found in the eukaryotic cell, and that become evolutionally related. So for example, tukija kuangalia kwenye prokaryotic cell, ukiangalia kwenye hii prokaryotic cell, they have a structure ambayo inakuwa ina ufanano mkubwa sana na structure ambayo inapatikana kwenye eukaryotic cell. For instance, kwenye prokaryotic cell, you can see there is mitochondria, but also within the eukaryotic cell, also there is mitochondria. So the function of mitochondria that is found within the eukaryotic cell, it is similar to that which is found within a prokaryotic cell. So kutokana na hiyo evidence ndipo ambapo tunasema kwamba hawa organism ambao tunasema organism wote wanaopatikana within the earth, they come from the same ancestor, wametokea kwenye origin moja. So now, another importance of studying this cytology, simply we can say that it helps to understand the basis of genetics, the location, the structure, chemistry, and the role of nucleic acid such as DNA and RNA. So we're going to learn we're going to learn how to understand the basis of genetics. Tukiongelea genetics hapa tunamaanisha kwamba ile location ya structure, chemistry together with the role of the nucleic acid within the DNA and the RNA. So you're going to understand how does this DNA they function in the process or in the term of genetics. So you're going to learn one after another. So my students, let's end here. In the next part also you're going to learn this importance of studying this cytology, and thereby we're going to clarify more about the cell theory. Thank you for listening.